I'm John McCarthy, and we're here with Clyde Butcher at his gallery in Venice, Florida. We've only been inside a few minutes, but it feels like we're really in the great outdoors. These images are so evocative of what Florida's all about. And this one in particular, I grew up here in Florida and always spent time at the beach, and yet this image is so different. It's just a little piece of the beach, Clyde. What's this one all about?
Well, this kind of, Florida is a living organism. I mean, I really call it a biological state. And I think this shows the power and the energy that Florida has. I mean, I think we've got the greatest skies in the world here in Florida. Now, the next picture I took was this blowing up. People sometimes don't take the time to watch a cloud build energy, and this one blew up and went all the way to Miami.
Clyde, this is another fantastic image, and tell us about this one. It's got everything.
Well, that's what I call moonrise, and actually this one and Ochapee are one of the first shots I did when I went to black and white, and I was shooting color, and this was one of my first pictures I took. I went to take the picture and the shutter wouldn't work, and so what I ended up doing was taking the lens apart, taking my fingers and shoving the shutter open, putting it back together. Then I took a dark slide out of the camera and put it over the lens, and then took the film holder out and went like that. So that was my exposure.
You were your own shutter.
So people ask me, what was the exposure time? Well, it's about like that.
So here's another image with the cypress trees, and of course for anyone who's ever been canoeing in Florida, I mean the cypress is, kind of the quintessential swamp or river tree.
Well, I'm actually in the water when I took this, so I'm at canoe level. Well, in reality, being there, you really can't spend that time.
Right.
Here with a photograph, you could spend, 15, 20 minutes, half hour. It gives it, and also in reality, you can't see this when you're there. You can't. People don't understand how they see. You could never see this at one spot. What you do is you scan when you're in nature.
This really reminds me of growing up in Florida. I used to travel between Fort Myers and Sarasota, and if you traveled in a car, you just saw everything growing up along the edge. But if you traveled in the Trailways bus, you were up higher.
Right.
And probably when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I started looking out over that edge and seeing these type of landscapes. And when I would see a little island like that, I wanted so bad to have them let me off the bus, wade out through the water, and just visit that little place.
Well, there's still a lot of wetlands when you come up 75. People don't realize how unique Florida is. When I first came here, I didn't see anything to photograph. It was boring until I started getting out in it and getting your feet wet. There's so much things here. There's so many things to photograph. You can't photograph them all.
Yeah, this image is it really speaks to me in terms of what I recall from my childhood.
Cape Costa is what I call a cheap trip to Hawaii. It's a state park, and the only way you get to it is by boat.
That's right.
So it gives you that sense of old Florida because you have to walk.
The other thing that I think you see here is that dynamics of the beach that you talked about earlier, and the fact that the sand has come and gone, and so palms that were once standing up there with the sea grapes, they're now leaning. These have already fallen.
Right.
You get to see almost a slice of time.
The life progression.
Then here again, such an ancient tree, blown by the wind, as you described of the oaks earlier, holding on for dear life, and at the same time providing life for the pelicans and the other birds.
This one's been through 3 or 4 major hurricanes, and the last one, Wilma, stripped everything except basically the basic tree. This was after Andrew. Andrew took a lot of this area out, and then Charlie kind of missed a little bit, and then Wilma really did the whole area in. Now this is Devil's Tower, and it was used in Close Encounters. And back in the 70s, I was a real Star Trekky person, so I had to photograph this. And people don't understand, but this actually is a core of the volcano. This is actually the shooting of the lava, and this is the mountain falling out around the core.
Clyde, I had no idea you had actually a darkroom here at your gallery in Venice, and coming through the door and seeing all this equipment. I don't know if I've gone back in time or if I'm in an antique shop or where I am. So
you're kind of back in time.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, actually, there's new stuff and old stuff, but these enlargers that I feel, these three are my best enlargers. These were made in the 1930s and 1940s. The last one down there, I actually know what it cost. This 1932. I got that from the Miami Herald. It was $30,000 in 1932.
Wow!
You can imagine how much that money would be today. These are actually machines. That one weighs like 1,500 pounds. This one's probably a mere 700.
Yeah, it's very industrial.
Right. The ones they build today are like 30 pounds.
Right, right.
But these have their precision, they're solid for making grid prints. I mean, you just don't make these things anymore.
Clyde, it has been great being here in your gallery today, seeing the darkroom. We really appreciate everything that you're doing for Florida and for Sarasota, and all the different types of ways that you provide your art out to the community. So we'd like to thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome for coming. Thanks for coming.
For doing what you do and being right here in Sarasota as well.